Good afternoon, everybody. So, this is the end of yet another week, and what you are seeing right now in front of yourself is the chart of SPY. Um, next few minutes, I'm just going to go through what happened this week and basically try to see where the market is and what are the levels to watch. Um, I have removed most of the things from here, but let's just go through what happened. Um, this area, which is around this high here, which is 394.17, was our previous all-time high. And this week, with all the bullish momentum, um, we attempted to get above it last week, but we didn't close above it. And this week, we actually had good 3 days where we spent above it, and we were definitely looking all bullish. Even the Fed day, made us bullish, and we made a high of 398. But things changed in a dime, and then we have this bearish move here. So what happens is when we see a move like this, when there was a breakout and then the breakout failed, obviously that is a false breakout, and as a result, we definitely have seen two bearish down days, and so that's basically what happened. Now this is what you're seeing actually on SPY, and this is only showing you the date, the trading time, right? Like 9:30 Eastern to 4 p.m. Um, but let's go on ES. ES is the futures chart, and this will give you an even more better idea in the sense that the high on SPY was one thing, but the actual high that was made, including the overnight session, is what is here. Um, and this is what is this level here? That is 3,952.25. So that was an overnight high that was made sometime early in February. And what happened is, um, in the futures, you can see that we spent uh, only a little bit above, like 20, 25 points, which is around $2 above that high. And we made a new high, and then we broke below it. And this break was definitely not great, and we saw what happened today, which is we are down yet another, we are merely down, but at one point we were definitely down decent. So that's basically what has happened right now. In my opinion, what we have right now is a false breakout, or you can say a double top, where this is your top number one and this is your top number two, uh, and now we are falling back from it. uh, what's so now let's see what are the important levels to keep an eye on and where we stand in front of that in respect to that. So today's low coincides with the trend line that we have been watching for last several months. We had a breakdown on this trend line in the first week of March, but again today we found support line. Um, I initially thought that once we have broken this trend line, maybe the market doesn't honor the trend line, but maybe there is more to it. It's not just the trend line. It is also um, when I put the SMAs, simple moving average, we can clearly see that the today's bottom was at the 20 SMA, pretty close to the 20 SMA. So this green line that you're seeing is 20 SMA on futures, and it's gonna be same on pretty close to that on SPY. So um, a little bit down here on SMA on that, and there's another one SPX. So actually, it tagged pretty close to SPX. SPX is your cash for cash index for Standard and Poor. Um, Okay, so that's where we are right now. No matter whichever we can analyze SPX. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go switch to a lower time frame, um, and this is going to give us an idea about what are the key levels that we need to watch going for upside and downside. And for simplicity, I'm also going to remove the SMAs. Okay, So something the definition of a trend, what you want to see is if you are bullish, you want to see higher highs, the lows are high, that you have a low and then you make another higher high, and the lows here are again, this low here is higher than the previous low. So that's the typical definition of the trend. But I think with once this low is taken out, we definitely have made a new lower low, and are we in the process of forming a lower high? I have we have to analyze, we have to look the market in all perspective. So right now I'm looking at a smaller time frame, which is hourly. This will not change much whether you go hourly or you go on a 4 hour basis. The trend will be same. You will still see that today we got rejected at these levels, and I will show you on futures why we got rejected at that level. Um, but but this that's one level here, and then the another important thing is now from this top you can draw a trend line, and I think we on this one we are not seeing, but on futures we can see that we were hitting the trend line, downtrend line here. Actually, let me go back to the futures itself. So if you go back to ES, um, I can draw this trend line from here touching these, and okay. So okay, now they meet, extend to the left, and we can go extend to the right. Okay, so this is where it becomes interesting to see why this area, the 3920 area, was an important area for us to breach. If you were listening me on the on the voice channel today, I mentioned, right, the definition of a trend is we have a high, we have a low. This high is lower than the previous high, but then what we do is we make a new low. And now this low here is lower than, you can take this low or you can take either of the two lows. So we are basically, we have broken the trend again. We, rather than going higher, we are now going lower. And while we are doing that, what we are also doing is we made a low here, we had a high here, we came down, we made a new low which was lower than the previous low, and this time when we came back up, we got resisted. We actually found resistance at this previous high, which is around 39, which is around 3920 on futures, and on SPY it is somewhere around 391 something. Uh, let's quickly take a look at that on SPY. Um, that's around 391.46, 391.46. So that's our key level, guys. Until unless we cross above these levels, until unless we, as long as we are below this level, uh, 3920 on futures and 391.40, 40, 50 on SPY, um, I would say we have more risk for a downside move rather than a higher move. Make sense? I mean, this is the level, this is the level where this is the boundary level, you can say. You can say on the right side of this level, you are bearish, on the left side of this level, you are bullish, or in the other context, if the prices are trading below 3920, you can be bearish. If it is trading above, you can be bullish. Both of them starts with B. Great. So that's point number one. So let's take a look. Let's say if we are bullish, right? If come Monday in overnight session on Friday, Sunday, if we start trading above this 3920 level, obviously this all-time highs that we made earlier, which is around 3952 something, is going to be our point of one resistance. 3980 is our second resistance, and if we manage to get above all of these, I think I had done some calculations, and I think I'll be looking for 4080, 4080 on futures, which on SPY could take us to $404 something. Um, some change there. So that's on the upside. Now, what about on the downside? If we continue to trade below these, so one more important thing, right? Um, as as I notice here, the 3900 area was a key. We found support in yesterday's trading session. We also found that in the intra overnight session, and on the Telegram channel I had posted out. So 3900 was a level. What we did is we closed below it. Guys, think about this. Ask this question. We spent not we, I mean the market spent the entire day trading over 3900 level. It spent 4 hours, 5 hours trading at the highs of 3920, and then in the last, I don't know, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever, it lost and it closed below the 3900. And I'm going to repeat this again, right? The entire scanning world, the scanners, the automated scanning and filtering, they all work based on the close. Every time you calculate SMAs, they are worked on close. You calculate RSIs, they're 90% based on the closing of a bar, not the high and low. So it doesn't matter how did we do in the day. What matters is the close. So for all purpose, our today's close on ES future is 3,896, which is below 3,900, which we saw had been acting as a good support. So that's where we close. You take a look at SPY. Uh, we basically close at 389.48. So that's the close for all purpose. So that's why you saw all this window dressing happening in the last 15, 20 minutes. No matter where we were, uh, this is your this is your 5-minute chart, and you can clearly see that we were trading all the way at 39.50. If we were bullish, if we were supposed to be bullish, we could have gone higher, right? We attempted this a break a couple of times, but we could not. And the entire day we were holding above 3905, which terms around 391, somewhere around 391 on SPY. But in the last 5 minutes of the trading, we broke below it and we closed lower. So all that to me points out that I'm 51% bearish. I am 51% looking for a move onto the downside, and I will turn bullish. That 49% bullish thing will turn 51% bullish if we start trading above these levels, above this high, which is around 39.20. So going back to the downside levels, what are the levels to watch for? Let's go back here and see, right? I'm going to remove this. Actually, let's leave it there. Okay. So, um, hmm, and I'm doing this live, so I may miss a couple of levels, but and there are several things that you have to put in factor when you're looking at it. So let's go with SMAs. I use SMAs as a good indication of where to find next support. So 3850, it's a good. All of these lines up together, guys. So 3850 is our previous high before we made this high, and usually this will act as support area. So I can't draw a straight line, but if we start falling below below today's low, we should find some support around 3850, which is our previous high, and 3700 again should act as some support. We have found some support in past, so it should also act as some support. Um, uh, let's take a look at intermediate levels if there are any in the middle that we can find. Um, and let's remove my SMAs here. And what without SMAs? Okay. So basically what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to look at the charts and find out areas which have provided support in past, or where resistance in past. This is purely based on the price action, and there are we're not looking at the volume and the time spent. Those are different way of looking at the analysis, right? But um, I think if um, I need to go at 4 hours nowadays. Okay, so Yeah, if we drop below this, then obviously our first level of support is this area here, which is um, 3861, 386. So it should be around somewhere around 380, 386. And let's take a look on SPY. Um, and on SPY, if we go, yeah, that's around 386. 386. That's level of that's one area of support, and I'll always use these two bottoming handles as the next area of support. And here's your next three areas of support: 381, 381, and then 370, 273. These are at different levels, but we'll see them as it happens. But that's what I'm going to be looking on spies. If we are not able to get above the 391.5, those are the levels to watch for. Okay, so SPY is one index that I spend more time on trying to get because it contains a good 500 number of stocks. But I also like to put take a look at NQs, which also holds a major portion. I mean, the NQs have a big portion of a lot of stocks that are in NQ are also part of SPY, and this is where things become interesting. I don't have to spell it out, but we know that tech has been weaker in the last few sessions, or has been weak since last couple of months, and we saw a good steady downtrend line. What we got here, we can now now we can say that hey, this was a bear pullback, or your like if you do this if this was leg A, this was your leg B pullback, and then you can have a leg C, which is of this length. So if we start to drop below, yeah, which we are. So let's see. Um, I should have done this before, but we have around 2000, roughly around 2000 point from this low to this high. So if my maths are correct, and if we drop, we can come all the way to 11,000. And if you see, the 11,000 has been an area of prior support. Uh, so so that's basically what tells me. And again here, guys, I'll go back to the trend definition. Uh, we have, sorry, my pen here. Uh, so tech is weak, and all this bearishness or all this move down is being driven by tech. So we have had these lower highs, which were say equal or same, and then we got rejected at this level, and the same level, actually this time we are even a little bit lower. We're not exactly the same, but we got rejected pretty close to that level again. But for all purpose, you can say this was your lower high. We made a new low here, and this was your again lower high, and now we are in the process of going and probably will make a new lower low. um, yes, things can change, and for things to change, we need to get above 13,200 on NQs, and if we plot these levels on QQQ, it's around 320. I think 320, actually 325, 325. So this is your chart on QQQ. I mean, most of the people are familiar with SPY and Q, so I can put that also in a perspective. So this this move here, 338, and this is here is I think it was 296. So so that's around $40 move. This range here is around roughly around 40 dollars, and with the break of this downtrend line from here from 315, you can subtract $40. So that should bring you to 270 levels, to around 270 levels. That's what you're looking on Qs. Um, when would be bullish? What in what scenario would we change from looking at downside moves to the longer side moves? Um, yes, obviously, first thing we need to do is we need to stop going lower than where we are. These lows needs to hold, and we so what are the other possibilities, right? can we so we can we trade between this channel here? 310 area has been a previous go no go level because of its previous areas of support. There has been a lot of trading done around 310 level. Uh, Couple of weeks back, if you were listening to me, I had mentioned at this reference 310. Um, so we are back to that area. So couple one thing that I'm thinking about here is, could we be forming an inverted head and shoulder, right? And I don't know this. We will know only when things have happened. But think about this. Let's say this is your neckline, right? This can be your left shoulder. This can be your head. This can be your right shoulder. So yes, if we go back up above here on Monday, if we hold these levels, we don't fall down further, and we start to move higher, then yes, then this is a bullish setup, right? Then this will turn out to be a bullish setup where um, where you can read this as your left shoulder. This is becomes your head, and this becomes your right shoulder. And then once we break above 325, you can do the math from here. 397 to 325. That's almost around uh, $30. That's almost around 29 $30, and then you can add $30 to 325. That takes you to 355. That's where it will be your target. You can swing out these calls or stocks or whatever you like for 3 to 6 months out and just sit tight there. But but if that does not happen, if we start breaking below 310, today we did hold. We didn't see a window dressing on SPY, sorry, on Qs into the last 5 minutes. So let's go back here on the 5 minute chart, and you can see the Qs closed pretty flat. Like they were range bound for the entire 3 4 hours, and they stayed there. So they did not show the sign of weakness. But we have to now look into Monday to see where does Qs take us. If we start to trade below $310, I think our next level is going to be 296, 297 area. And if if we breach the 297 area, then we are heading towards the 270 mark. That would be a calculated move. And yes, guys, we are gonna have stops in between. This is not going to be a one fast run kind of a thing. It could be something like this, but but usually there'll be some stops and then a little pullback and then downs. So so that's my thought on Qs. Let's also take a quick look at IWM. IWM had been the leader in this entire run, and I say it leader because you can clearly see right from the November presidential election, it was somewhere around here. There was this breakout to all-time highs. This is where the IWM all-time highs are. There was this gap up on the vaccine news, and since then, the stock had been on tear, had been on fire for at least 2.5 months. There was no pullback. Anybody who was waiting, 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 they never got a pullback. We only had this in the middle of somewhere around Christmas time frame. There was a small pullback, and then there was a small pullback in the February time frame. It's only in the last 2 weeks that the market has become a little volatile here. But again, we are seeing the same patterns as SPY. You can take this as your previous high, and we broke above this, and now we are below this trading thing. So um, so so making money and on IWM has not been is not that easy anymore. So the free money, right? What I mean free money is, it's easy money was made from here to here. Now there's a lot of pull and push going on. So I think um, we this chart still look bullish in the term that we have not violated any of our previous lows. This low here, and if you look at this low here, the low here is still higher than this low. So we are technically not in bearish mode or has not changed the definition of the trend. We low here, we have this high. We did a pullback. The low here is higher than the previous low. We went and made a new high, right? So now the question is, what do we do from here? Do we come and test here and make new lows, or do we hold support and continue to go higher? Um, watching IWM might also be a good thing going into next week to see, what are we doing at these levels here. If we hold these levels and we can build on top of it, then then yes, the market will seem to be bullish. But if we start to breaking this level, if you start to break today's low, your 210 is your first level, 210 to 228 to 210 is your first level. Obviously, they have made a range now. It's not going to be very easy to pinpoint something, but if and when we fall below 210, 190 is your area of support. Anything in between is just an intermediate stop. Over here, if we can manage to get above 330, then we are super bullish. Haven't done any calculations on it, but I can update you guys later to see if we manage to go up, what would be the next levels to watch at. Um, the third and the last one, which is diamonds, DAI. Usually, I don't spend a lot of time analyzing diamonds because it only contains 30 stocks. They don't give you a good idea, but sure. We saw some strength in diamonds going into this week and earlier in the week. So that was all good, but looks like the rally, the strength over there is also fizzling out. And I'm following this trend line here, which is top, 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 and we got rejected again. So we did. So usually this should have been bullish, right? Whenever you break a pattern, so if you guys know, there are patterns that are categorized as bullish and bearish, right? And you do not front guess where the pattern is going to break out. Is it going to be breaking out in the bullish direction or in the bearish direction? But if and when the pattern breakout happens in the reverse direction, like if a pattern is a bearish pattern and if it breaks out to the upside, then that's a bullish move. And that bullish move should come with a lot of force because uh, technically there are a lot of bears or people who were on the negative side should have been trapped in it, and when they see things breaking out, they should have fuel to a short squeeze and things like that. So that's basically the market psychology, or thinking about some things that you don't see but you can understand what's going on there, right? So we didn't see that happen here because we broke above the resistance. We only saw we did spend good 4 days, and it felt as if we were consolidating and waiting rather than actually making a move higher like this. That did not happen. So as a result, we are back into the channel. So if you think that we are doing this, um, we are doing this, then maybe now from here the time is to come and test the down move of the channel. So yeah, I mean, if we start seeing some lows here, we will probably look for 310, 313 area. But if not, if we continue to go higher, um, yeah, I haven't done any price analysis on it, but definitely this can become really super bullish. So overall, to summarize this recording, I think there's a lot. Again, as usual, markets leave you in hanging mode where they want you to keep guessing what the next move should be, whether they're bullish or bearish. But um, there are clear signs of weakness coming into the market, and if we continue to see them, then right now what you're seeing is a weekly chart, and I'm going to remove these drawings here so you can clearly see what's happening on the weekly basis, right? There's a lot of pull, tug and pull and push happening around the trend line here, right? On a weekly basis, if you see, we haven't closed any week below it all the time. This was a look below and failure, but we have managed to keep above the trend line. So we're definitely at an important gesture here. Could this be a double top here? I don't know. It's important for us to be more bullish. It's important for the markets to break those levels I've talked. If not, if we start breaking Friday's lows, then we can think about revisiting these lows here. Qs are definitely weaker. If you look on weekly sides, weekly basis, triple Qs technology has been really weak. They have already broken their uptrend line. That's why you don't see it on my chart. And any move upside is getting sold out. So you have seen, right, three continuous weeks of red, strong selling, and going, and maybe a 1 or 2 weeks of pullback, just to cool down the selling. And you can see there, this is on huge volumes, right? I mean, on a weekly basis, if you see, your average volume is around 200,000, 200 million. But last 4 weeks, there has been huge volumes. So anytime at the, when there is a, move coming in, right, you see huge volumes, right? This drop here, we saw huge volumes for 5 6 weeks, and then the volumes stays around it. So keep an eye on those levels I mentioned on Qs, and I think Qs will be the driver of the market towards the downside. You see early weakness in Qs, protect yourself. I think that is all for today. uh, Happy to answer any questions, um, or send me a, happy to answer any questions. Thanks, guys.